Dr. Liang had watched the poor boy retch up his own intestines, drown in his own blood, and choke to death on the laboratory floor. 2 days prior to this evening, she had finally emerged from 3 weeks in quarantine isolation, where she'd examined her life and its purpose and had wept until she had no tears left. She had firmly concluded that there should be no Level 5 biowarfare laboratories or anything like Gantu 62 anywhere in the world. Tonight, she was going to shut the whole damn thing down. The numerical designation of all such facilities is a reference to how many segregated floors there are. Level 1, at the very bottom of Tokwi 13, held the effluent decontamination systems. Above that, on Level 2, was the research lab with inflatable seal doors, autoclaves, petri dish germ farms, and breathing hoses into which lab workers plugged their MOPP helmets. Next came Level 3, the serious business floor, with buffer corridors, steel double entrance doors, incubators for arms-only handling of samples, electron microscopes, more breathing hoses, and reverse suction pumps to keep the air pressure at less than 1 atmosphere. Level 3 was where they carefully deposited the already deadly, naturally occurring viruses being farmed on Level 2 and genetically enhanced them to be 50 times more lethal. If you ripped a hole in your PPE on Level 3, as Wang Chu had done, they took your corpse right down to the giant incinerator below the blending tank under Level 1 and sent a very nice note and the Medal of Loyalty and Integrity to your mother. Levels 4 and 5 were all about reprocessing air, with HEPA filters, exhaust fans, and breathing air reservoirs, 2 whole floors just to keep everyone alive. And finally, at the top, was the last level, which didn't count numerically, containing the lab's administrative offices, cafeteria, sleeping quarters, 1 small amphitheater, and outside, past the entrance, a helicopter landing pad. It was a large facility, shaped like a giant steel travel mug sunk into the excavated rock of the butte, with only the top floor and its camouflaged roof exposed. To get there, you had to fly west from Beijing to Hohhot on a PLA aircraft, then ride a blacked-out government bus all the way to Baotou and turn north for Bayan Obo. From that point on, the primitive mountain roads tortured your spine for another 60 kilometers until you reached the Alpine tram that took you up to one of the most dangerous buildings on Earth. But you only had to do that twice, once to arrive and once to leave. Deployments were a year long. There was no leave time. It was like working at an outpost on Mars. Now Dr. Liang, outwardly composed though her stomach churned and her eyes were ringed with exhaustion, took her place at the amphitheater's podium to start her emergency briefing. She was an attractive woman in her early 40s, petite and toned from the lab's daily Tai Chi sessions and the yoga that relieved the stress. She had long dark hair swirled up into a bun, hazel eyes, a small nose, white teeth, and wore fashionable purple glasses. She was also very pale, but everyone who worked at Tokwi 13 was pale. "I must apologize to all of you for waking you up," she began as she clutched a set of phony PLA directives that she'd forged on her own computer. "However, we have received urgent orders with which we must all comply." She looked at the 23 wide-eyed faces staring back at her. Almost everyone was dressed in PLA track pants and T-shirts because she'd rousted them from their beds. 6 of them were women, and none of them was older than 31. They were lab technicians, analysts, biomedical experts, and maintenance personnel, and all were patriots and dedicated party members. The Colonel Doctor had dressed in her brown camouflage military medical team uniform to emphasize that her words were blessed by officialdom. "You are all aware of the unfortunate fate of Lieutenant Chu," she continued, "which has been reviewed by the Committee for State Security."